William Friedman.
Okay, here we go. Hey, welcome to everybody. Thank you for making a commitment to be here this evening or morning, wherever it is you are, and to move yourself forward in your ASEA business. We know you have a choice, and we hope to provide you with insights that will make a difference. And I'm very proud to introduce to you our elite panel of guests, our masters group, if you will, that will be sharing their insights tonight. We have Bill Perry. We saw Maureen Hayes for just a moment. She's in airplane mode somewhere on the way to Houston now. Masami Hanloff is with us, Jim and Ann Glenn, Donalyn Dominguez. I didn't see Marion Palmer, and yours truly. You know, I got to start by telling everybody or sharing with you guys, I hope you were on Tyler Norton's call last night. You know, last night he delivered such a great gift for all of us, and he presented his views on strategy, how to leverage resources for growth and success. And I love what he said in the early beginning. He says, have you identified every available resource available to you in ASEA? Have you identified the resources that you could utilize to develop a competitive advantage? And good leadership ultimately finds resources and shares them with their team. I think the greatest resources we have is each other. Absolutely. And this gathering is designed to expose you to the masters group of ASEA leaders. We've been just a bunch of us getting together for, I think, a couple of years now. And it's our intention this evening that this information will be helpful to you. And so we put out a notice for questions. And I think, Jim, what do you think? Should we just jump right into some of those questions?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And hey, before we start, guys, hey, there's a little, there's a chat icon at the bottom of your screen. If you have a question as we're rolling along, or that you can think of right now that you would like to have some help with or get answered, please put that in the chat. We'll take a look at that as we go through here, and we'll try to get to every question we possibly can. So, you know, for the Masters group, hey, everybody, thanks for being on tonight.
You bet. Thank you. Hey, go ahead. Hey, real quick, William, go ahead and make, I can't remove her, that redox2.com. Can you go ahead and do that? For whatever reason, my control won't let me do that. Thank you. I'm still looking for Jerry. Go ahead.
Okay. So, guys, we have Tom ask a question earlier today. He says, experts are very busy with their ASEA businesses, and often he feels uncomfortable to reach out knowing how busy that the experts might be. And so what is the best way to set up a three-way call with everybody being so darn busy? And so any thoughts on that with the panel? How does it work for you guys? What do you do with your teams?
William, real quick, and we're all getting to that point. We weren't a while back, but now we're getting to that point. So what we try to do, if we're not available at that moment, and rarely we are not available at that moment, what we try to get a lot of people to do is to do a three-way, and Ann's really good at that with private messenger and the Facebook stuff, but I don't do that much with the Facebook. She's the expert on that. But what I try to get, we're coaching people to do is to do three-way or however many way, a group text to introduce us to the people and to schedule a time where we can all kind of work together. But it's also a safe way, or it's a good way for me to try to establish a relationship with the person that they're trying to connect me with. So we can kind of do that. And so that's what's been working for us, is we make a hard, like say, you know, tonight at 9 o'clock, you know, okay, I have an appointment with, say, with Tammy at tonight at 9 o'clock sharp. So then I know I need to be off any other calls. So that's what we're really doing. And we try to limit the amount of time too that we spend on those calls.
Excellent. Thank you, Jim.
You bet.
Anybody else want to add anything?
Yeah, that's Bill. Yeah, I think that if they would text or kind of go through the chain there, just text somebody and say, hey, you know, I've got this person I'd like to get a three-way call with, kind of like what Jim was saying. And because their time is obviously as valuable as ours. So I normally, if I can't do it, I'll definitely try to find someone who can. And I think everybody would do that. So, and it's always important to kind of get a little bit of update before about the person you're getting ready to speak with. So if you can set an appointment with the person, maybe your sponsor or rep on who you're used to talking to, text them and say, I've got a guy available or a gal at a certain time. And then if they can't make it to one of our live calls, we could obviously get them on a three-way call with someone, because there's so many of us available that I think would be more than happy to help.
Excellent. That's excellent, Bill. Finding somebody that can, that's a really important part of this, and understand that that's our goal, is to always help you guys. I think a recommendation I would have would be reach out to whoever the experts are that you're working with, and find out what is the best time of day typically for them. Like for me, I can say that mornings most of the time are better for me, and evenings. During the day, I often find myself booked out fairly solid, but it's so interesting how much time I have in between everything that I do. So I often find that I have plenty of windows in between to handle connect calls. Anybody else want to offer? Masami, Donna Lynn?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but it'd be really to do group texting and, find maybe 3 or 4 upline, and then just tell the situations when is available, and whoever responds to you, and that's what usually we'll do 3-way calls. So
excellent.
and as you say, we are very busy, but we are not busy either. Again, as you said, busy, but there's something in between an appointment, we have a time. So just don't hesitate. We love to hear from, downline who wants to do a connect call. We love that.
Fantastic.
And two on that, I think it's important that sometimes when someone will call me, I could think maybe they might have a certain challenge that, or someone would be better equipped for that person, after we get the information, because I think it's very important if you can kind of match the hatch with the people that you're actually wanting to do the 3-way call with, so they can really get some good information. And it could be just someone that it might not be on this panel or other, but it might be someone has had that type of experience. And I think that could, when you can give a real life experience with someone, I think is more powerful than anything.
Fantastic.
Hey, William, I have one other thought.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but that's why and we have the convention coming up pretty quick. And that's like when I met Hugh Jennings, I know he's on the call. I talked to him a bit, and I loved his story. So when you go to the convention and you start talking to people, then you start capturing their phone numbers and maybe even take a picture with them so you can remember who they are. But when you start talking to these people, and then you just ask them, hey, William, if I ever come across someone that's had a similar issue as you, do you mind if I call you? And a lot of times we're willing to do that, as long as we all respect each other's time. And I love what Bill Peary said. The people that they're trying to connect us with are very, very busy as well. And we want to respect all of that. So, but anyway, I just want to put a plug in why you want to go to the events, not just the big conventions, but also all the regional events that are going to happen throughout the country. Did you want to add anything?
Well, I would just say when we're signing people up, they're brand new. I already groom them for this is what we do to help you grow. So they already know ahead. We do 3 ways. We do 3-thread, a private messenger. We do 3-thread texting. So the first introduction, this is all about business, building relationships. So if we can get to know the prospect at the same time that somebody's already piqued their interest, then I can step right in and make a conversation. And I do lots of those every week, is involve our team with a conversation with the prospect. And then that leads to, I share very little in the message. I get them on the phone. That's my goal, is to get them an appointment with me. And I've got it solid in my schedule, and they already know. So that's what I would suggest for Tom, is get with that expert that you want to. I don't know who his upline is, but he would be able to then schedule some stuff so he can get his prospects in that 3-way thread, text, or an appointment.
Thank you. And, you know, I think it's important that we understand that the prospect, the person we're looking to connect, is the priority. Okay, the rest of us are not. They're the priority. We should have a singular focus on that.
Exactly.
Obviously, we have to be cognizant of people's times. But if somebody's reaching out to me and they tell me, I much prefer people to say, hey, can you do it at 5 o'clock? I've got someone that's available at 8:30 a.m. And I will either do it or find somebody to do it. So, and I think that's a good reminder for me to do better in that regard. I also want everybody to understand that you need to know how to perform a three-way call on your phone. And please practice with your friends, your relatives, your upline. And that's really, really important. And you need to know how to make the introduction and properly edify your expert before making any call or when inviting to a webinar or a reception. That is really important because that sets the whole thing up, right? So they know the importance of the person they're going to be spending a few minutes with. And it's also important to let the expert do all of the talking, do not interrupt, talk unless invited to do so. And it's also what I share is when the expert is finished, hang up immediately, or you're going to be in a conversation explaining things. So you're either going to hang up right away or enroll your prospect and place an order. So role play with your expert on how to edify them correctly based on how they want to be edified. All right.
Hey, can you get Jerry's opinion on this? Because I know he's probably the most high in demand person on the planet. Jerry, how do you recommend we do this? Or people, that's the question that Tom had.
Well, please restate the question because I had trouble getting in.
Sure. So the question is, experts are very busy with their ASEA businesses, and he's often uncomfortable to reach out knowing this. And so what's the best way to set up a connection when everybody's so darn busy? What would be your thoughts, Jerry?
Well, the biggest thing is that you have to give yourself permission to succeed. Many of us stand in the background and say, gosh, they're not inviting me. And that is a harmful set of circumstances to create on yourself. So first off, give yourself permission to have enough authority to feel like your call matters. Make sure that the people that you bring on the call have been properly prepped and that you're going to do a professional job with what you do. And then I want you to think about, think down the road. Imagine that you are in our seat. Perhaps you have 20,000 people in your organization. And you get a phone call and somebody says, I've got so much activity, I really can't seem to I need some help. Or I've got somebody that I think just needs a few kind words from your area of expertise. Imagine you getting a phone call like that. Maybe they're 12 layers down in your organization. They call up and say, I'm doing a Tuesday and a Thursday evening presentation live. I do the one with Alan Noble on Thursday. I've got 6 new people that just came in. I wonder if you might help cover me. How many of you would take time out and work with that person if they're in your pay line? So become that person that is working and active and moving and going forward. It's kind of weird about how this world really works. And that is your intention will create an opening. I don't know why it works. There's a lot of physics that talks about the butterfly effect and all that sort of stuff. But if you have the expectation, it'll work. It'll eventually work. If it's a woe is me, remember the old Eeyore? You know, if you wander around with the Eeyore and wonder where your tail went, nobody wants to talk to me and stuff like that, guess what? They don't. So change that intention to here we go, rock and roll, and you're going to be an undeniable force and people will want to join you, and doggone it, the upline's going to answer the phone. Weird deal.
That's great. That's great, Jerry. Thank you. I'm going
Hey,
to
William, real quick, I want Donalyn to step in because she's probably one of the busiest people. Donalyn, are you there? Okay, how would you answer that question, Donna Lynn?
About the Connect calls?
Yeah, just about being busy and people like someone in your downline that's just, feeling like you're too busy. How do you like people to connect with you?
I think that in my conversation with them at the very beginning, I always let them know that I want to help anytime that they need it. So if they will text me and see what my day looks like, see when I might have windows, that we can plan to talk then. And if I don't have a time when their prospect has a time, then I reach out to someone else like you or Jerry or Terry or whoever else that I can. Maybe it's someone that is an expert in their area, like they got a nurse and I need to talk to a nurse. So I reach out to a nurse in the group that can be the expert because she loves this business and understands the medical perspective they're coming from. So it's all just like everyone else has said, a matter of coordinating a few minutes at a time to meet their need. And they all are very understanding. If they know I'm booked solid all morning, but I'll tell them I have lunch off. I'm free from 12 to 1. So we may do 3 or 4 Connect calls during lunch, but that's the way we do it.
Great. And when should, so Dora's asking, should the edification take place while we're on the 3-way call together? The edification should take place in advance because that's what creates the motivation for the person to be on the call. This is you need to build this up. This is a very important opportunity to connect with this person. And this person is very busy, but they're excited to have a few minutes to speak with you. And, this is their background, learn how the expert wants to be edified. And what's really great about Jim is he's really all heart and he's making a huge difference in this world. I can't wait for you to meet him. So always try to edify in advance. And now we're going to move on. Linda's asking, what is the best approach to introduce ASEA to medical professionals? Is there a way to have a list of individuals we can connect and perhaps something about their story? I think ultimately their expertise, if you will, so we can connect clients that they can relate to. So Jerry, I think you're probably the closest thing to being able to answer on this call. What are your thoughts on that? How do we approach a medical professional?
Like a people?
Like a people.
If you approach them like a medical professional, they already have a set series of hurdles you're going to have to run through. You're going to have to go through their office staff. You're going to have to go through the main Nazi that stands there and to prevent you from getting in. They're going to make an assumption that you're working as like a drug rep or equipment rep, and you're supposed to give them free stuff and then kind of lick their boots and feed them lunch and be nice to them and then grovel all the time. I don't think you want to go through that gate. So what you have to do is to come to a realization of what you're trying to accomplish. It's one of the biggest problems that people have when they try to talk to somebody else. They don't know what they're trying to accomplish. If you were going to take some best friends in college and you were going to go on a road trip, road trips are cool. If you didn't get to take one, road trips are cool. And so you wanted to do a road trip, you would spice it up a little bit. You would talk about where you're going to go, what you're going to see, who you're going to be a part of, and they're a very special person to go on that road trip with you. So here's just an example that maybe you can use. I'm going to use it reverse. Since I'm a medical guy, I'm going to tell you how I got a golf coach, actually a professional golfer. I was in town for an extra day in Burlington, Vermont. Never been to Burlington, Vermont before. And so I cruised over to the local gas station and I said, what is the most progressive golf course with the most progressive pros? Is there anybody around town that really gets it, would be most likely to jump on the bandwagon with something super that was coming into the possibility of working in the golf sector? Well, he said, I like Bob. He works up there up there on Knob Hill up there at the golf course, but he just seems to be way ahead of everybody else. So I went up to the front desk at the golf course and I said, who's the most progressive sort of think out of the box, somebody who really wouldn't mind setting up something brand new that's going to really sort of set the world on fire in golf. Well, they looked at each other and said, no question, it's Bob. So I went back to the back room and I said, I'd like to talk to Bob. They brought him out. And he said, Bob, I've been asking all around town, and they tell me you're the #1 most progressive guy in this area in terms of looking at new ideas, concepts, and technologies in golf, and that you're the best golf coach there is. I want to take a few minutes to show you something that's just been in the back of my mind for a long time, moving golf into a brand new area or moving our technologies into golf. And I want to spearhead it with the #1 most influential person I can find. If that's you, great. If it's not you, I guess I have to go to #2, but I know you know who I need to be talking to.
You're good, Jerry. I like that.
So let's spin that. If you want to go that to a healthcare professional, and you really get this, and you'd say, look, I got 6 spots on this screen right here, kind of like Hollywood Squares for some of us really old people that know what Hollywood Squares was. We have all of these experts in these squares, and what we're saying is, I'll bet you if we pulled our aggregate power together, we could absolutely turn the world upside down. I want to introduce you to the other people. And I wanted to, let's find out what this strength can do, how we can take this new model and go out and succeed in every way possible. But I need somebody in my own mind to fit into a healthcare side. We need somebody that's got a credibility in that side. I'm searching for them. I'd like you to listen to what we're talking about. Maybe it's you, maybe it's not you. Maybe your timing isn't right. Maybe this isn't something for you. But I do know you know who I need to be talking to. So I want to lay this out there, and let's see if you can help me get to where we need to go.
Fantastic. And I love the attitude of they need us. It's not all that we need them. You know, it's a partnership. And when we can move it into a partnership, the way Jerry just described it, it becomes really fun, and very.
One other thing I would tell you is that if you're going to deal with somebody who's outside your area of expertise, treat them that way. In the old days, they used to make basketball, the center in basketball was the tallest guy on the team. Probably still do that most of the time. His job was turn around and dump it in the bucket, be taller than everybody else. Just do that. Right, Jim? So you don't take Masami, who can shoot the lights out from all over the court, and stick her underneath the deal when she's down there banging on her kneecaps, and that's as high as she can reach. What you do is you put it in the hands of the person who's tall. And so you'd say somebody, I need someone who in a pinch can say, oh, really? You'd like a medical perspective? Try this on for size. This technology in these ways in my hands, this is out of here. I wouldn't even question it. And if we ask the person to say, look, I don't even, like I told that golf pro, I said, I know very few things about golf, but what I do know is that you talk about balance on the swing. Is that true? Can you explain that to me? Then I'd say, now I'm going to try to do a little bit of a test for functional range of motion. How far can a person turn? And then we're going to apply this gel. I want you to turn again. Can you relate that to balance or power on the ball? It's just an interest I have. Let them be the expert. Oftentimes when we're dealing with medical professionals, what they're going to say is, well, this much increased circulation. Oh, we answered the whole question in the whole world. Yeah, it does. It increases circulation 50% for 96 hours. But that's only a very small part of it. And I'm not going to tell them their baby's ugly. I go, whoa, thanks. Amazing. I never would have thought about that part. Let them be the expert in their own way. They'll know they don't know how to do the other stuff, but they know when they're added to the team, everybody works better.
Excellent. Anybody else want to comment? Masami, let's hear from you.
Hold on. Okay, so actually, it's I own a health clinic, right? So we get almost every week somebody comment to my office. The best is the best and product. You have to take a look. So all the doctor, they will not even look at the catalog. They put on a garbage can. Okay. So if you're a patient, for instance, if you're going to chiropractor's acupuncturist office and you already have a relationship with your doctor, So you go to doctor's office. This is, way I approach it is that, hey, have you heard about redox molecules? And 99% will say, no, what is it? Okay, so then, and you're gonna share your quick story. I didn't know either, but whatever you had to respond is absolutely amazing result. And you would say, I was wondering if this product will help your patient even get better with a chiropractic. Would you like to learn about it? And majority doctors say yes. Then after that, I know you're busy and so am I. What is the best way to send you information? I can text you, I can send you video, I can send email to you. What would be the best way for you to learn this technology? And they will say email. Great. I'll send you email. And I know, again, you're busy. When do you think you can read this information? You have to kind of make an appointment because they would say, yeah, sure, no problem. Send it to me. Then, 2 weeks later, they probably not look at your email, right? So you have to kind of make an appointment. Okay, I'm going to come back to see you next Tuesday. Hopefully we can discuss about it. And I don't say too much, but I really tell my story. And a lot of times, maybe first, second time, doctor might say, oh, thank you so much for sending information, but I was just so busy. I'm sorry, I didn't look into it. That's okay. But are you still interested if it helps your patients gets better with this product? Just keep going until they say yes. And they look at the information. Then connect you to Jerry or Dr. Hayes to do, doctor talk. And,
another point that you probably want to know is that in the mind of medical practitioners, they think you're trying, well, because most of you are, you're trying to get into their clinic so they can sell your product to every other patient that comes through the door, and then you can retire because they'll have all this stuff going on. That can help them in a couple of ways. One is they would become a practitioner who's having such radically better success than the other practitioners, they would get more referrals from the community. They could do that. It would be another way that would be helpful for them is that they're selling the products outright, doing a service for their community, and they're getting a markup. So there are two ways that we would, and that's all viable if their brain is only this big. And they can only see that something is bought wholesale and sold retail, then get yourself a packet, or we can get you a larger quantity, 14 cases, sell it one at a time out of your office, use your office staff. Here's what it looks like to order from the front desk. That's how you may want to set it up if that's all you want, because you're all going to get this group of people who talk about network marketing as being something negative. But remember the key important thing about that. If you get the same objection twice, you brought it in the room with you. You smell of it. You're saying, don't ask me that question. If they ask you, is this network marketing? I hate network marketing. My dog choked on network marketing one time. Then we would say, only if you want that part of it. The other part is to sell it retail out of your office. Which one makes more sense for you?
Excellent.
And William, I think it's already been said, but I think we need to remember too, my dad was a doctor. These people are human and they deal with their own issues. And I think we need to treat them as a person, but not so much walk into their office thinking that we're going to get them, and like Jerry said, all their patients on the product. I'm going to talk to the doctor. You need it for you. And if we show it to them as an individual, not that, oh my God, I got the dollar signs in my eyes, and we're going to get their entire practice. But if we go talk to them individually as a person, look, I just want you to do it, William. I'm not thinking about all your patients. I want you to take a look at this just for yourself right now. I think that might take some of the scariness or the threat.
There's a network trainer that covers this pretty well. His name is Big Al, and he's a funny guy, but he said, one thing to be very certain of is people are going to be attracted to positive, and they're going to walk away from negative. So if you walk into some situation and you really want to partner with somebody in the long term, and you start throwing a bunch of negatives out there, they're going to kind of go, well, it's not so bad. So he used this example. He said, let's say I went to we all went to a gathering, and there was a bunch of teachers there, and we were going to go in and go recruiting all these teachers at this gathering. And he said, oftentimes in this network industry, we try to get everybody to tell us how lousy their life is so that they can, that we can come in and save them and give them more opportunity and time and all that sort of stuff. So he says, let's say I sent my friend Pete in there first, and he's unindoctrinated. He goes through the whole crowd and he gets his fingers in his eyes 6 times. Nobody wants to talk to him, and goes, get Pete out of here. He's trying to proselytize everyone. And then he said, what Pete's generally trying to do is to get him to admit that they don't like what they do so he can get them to do it. So he says, I got a different tack. He said, what I know about teachers is that they're all afraid they'll never make enough money to retire. So he said, come at them with the positive and say, is it true? I heard there was a huge turnover in teachers recently because they all make so much money so fast, they're retiring out from under the deal all the time. And guess what that teacher's going to say? They're going to laugh and say, are you kidding? We can't even make our mortgage, and we got to do extra time on the football team and all this other stuff. And you got a lighthearted conversation moving in a positive direction where you can work with people. So try to keep that positive momentum working. What can we do possibly to make the world better? You'll have a lot more chance of talking to them more minutes.
Excellent. And Leanne is saying, I'm thinking Canadian MDs can't promote the product. Does anyone know how to get around that?
What I would tell you there is there are certain healthcare professionals where their governing bodies have told them that they're not allowed to do something, or they think their governing body told them they aren't allowed to do something. In most cases, it's not true, or it's just an excuse they use to say, I don't want to play with whatever you're talking about. So here's what I would do in that kind of a situation is we would say to them, could you recommend a brand new procedure that you came up with that was based on paper towels, a number 2 pencil and a string, and you could make somebody stand up straight and their back would quit hurting? How many people would you have to have permission to do that in your clinic? It's outside your scope of practice, but you're a chiropractor, but you got this string and a pencil, and you can make it work, and it works every time, and it doesn't hurt anybody. And they go, nobody. Well, assume that this is just about as harmful as a terry cloth beach robe, and you're not going to hurt anybody with it. And you want to don't use it on your patients. In fact, if they come up with something, say, I work for somebody else, I can't move product through this location, I'd say, that's not even why I'm here. I would say to them, use it to diagnose some things with your patients and validate it here, or when people bug you. And let's talk about building something on the side that can provide you with an alternative income that will support what you're doing now, give you more time and freedom when you get back home. Don't ever sell it to your prospects. So if somebody says, I'm not allowed to do that, I said, look, if you do, I'll throw you out. Now let's start talking about getting some validation on something that really works, which is perfect for this particular patient. How are you going to get it to them? And then let's build this on the side so that you can go to the next meeting. Let's say it's a big practice somewhere. You're just one of the hired hands, and you put your feet up on the table and say, I know this is about budget. Everybody's really nervous and stuff, but I'm kind of tired. I'm going to take a nap and wake me up when it's over, because I only come here because I want to, not because I have to. I don't need your money anymore.
That's great. You know, and doctors, they're in the business to help people. You know, in this country, and probably in Canada too, they take an oath, right? So if they're aware of something that can help a patient, they will feel obligated to share that. And really, they'll find a way. They'll find their own way to make this work. So yeah, I think it's great point, Jerry. Great point.
Hey, William, real quick. Dr. Bill Williams also talks to doctors about having a Plan B income source. You know, I used to be a stockbroker, and I used to do disability insurance. And the one thing I would ask anybody, what happens if you are a surgeon and you lose the ability to use your hands? What's your Plan B income plan for that? You know, a lot of doctors do have disability insurance, but I'll tell you what, typically it doesn't cover all their expenses. So I would try to go at them, get them thinking, you know, Plan B. And so that's another idea maybe to approach doctors with.
Excellent, excellent.
And the other thing you can do, and I see that, again, Leanne just said that you can only use it on skin clinics. If you're a skin clinic, use something on the skin. No, in this particular case, what you're doing is you're saying, I'm a clinic. If I'm a physical therapist and I'm going to test somebody neurologically, I'm going to say, I'm going to use this material for a neurologic test. I'm going to test their balance, and if it changes, I'm going to test their reflexes, and if it changes, it tells me something. I don't write that on their chart. It's something that I do, and the skills that I have and with the tool sets that I bring that I can do to make a determination quickly. I learn from it. I get validation all day long, but nobody's being charged for it. It's not harmful. You're not using it invasively. Nobody will get in trouble for doing stuff like that.
Thank you, Jerry. Well, anybody else want to offer? We're kind of running, we got a couple minutes left, and I want to see if anybody else wanted to offer anything there.
On that topic or a different topic?
Well, I'm afraid to start another topic with just a couple minutes left. So maybe we'll just wrap up with this topic.
Well, I tell you what, why don't we let Ann do, because we had one issue with Facebook, and Ann can spend just a couple of minutes talking about that topic, about how to tag whatever. I'm not a big Facebook person, but I know that our business has grown a lot in the last 6 months since Ann started doing this. So if it's okay, if she can just spend a couple of minutes on that.
Sure, sure. So Ann, tell us what you're going to share with us. It's about using social media, right?
Well, a couple of the questions that I saw earlier, one was how to meet new people. And that's a great way to find new people, is get more friends through the Facebook. And then Denny had said, why not use the ATM? And if you don't know what that is, it's add, tag, and message. Facebook has private messaging. And so I would say a lot of the people that I've recruited this last 6 months, and even last year, recruiting people, a good percent of mine came from Facebook. And so, you know, you can add somebody to a healthy self, then you tag them into a post related to what they're going through, but then you message them to let them know that you added them to the site. They need to accept the invitation, and that you thought that this story would be interesting to whatever they're going through. So that's what ATM does, is it gives you a chance to get people to know what are the testimonies in Healthy Self. If they're an associate in your team, you use ASEA United, because they have to be an associate there. And again, you can tag them there, and they'll, you know, get all sorts of great learning. If it's somebody who's interested in the business and they want to see how lucrative this is, then you can add and tag them over to ASEA Wealthy Self, and then they can learn more there. So you utilize the add button to get your friends onto the site if they're not already on, and you utilize those stories. Like tonight, a lady enrolled her father-in-law. Well, she saw one of the tags that I sent her related to eyesight. Well, then she sent that over to Dad, and he signed up tonight. So you utilize those sites, and then utilize private message. I do all day long, and that's how I get appointments, and I get face-to-faces every day. My goal every day is to reach out to 5 new people, and I don't spend one day until I have 5 new people, and I get appointments through mostly messaging. And then I make sure at the end of the appointment time, I get their phone numbers, because I need their phone number to have a personal connection. So that's what I wanted to share.
Fantastic. That's great, Ann. Thank you for sharing that. So add, tag, and message.
That's right.
System.
And there is in United, the whole training. You can go right to United and type in ATM, and you'll get an exhaustive training from Melissa, and Denny's done it. And it teaches you, Danielle Matthews, all of us utilize Facebook to grow our business.
Fantastic. Guys, it's been a fun evening tonight. We've answered, I hope, your questions. You know, the goal is to go out and reach people. And like Jerry says, it's about how we approach, right? I believe it's a tell, don't ask attitude. You know, when I'm excited about something, I want to actually tell somebody about it. It's like when's the last really cool thing that happened? You couldn't wait till you got home, right? To tell your wife or your husband or your kids, right? I mean, even for me, not long ago, I was driving home and I saw a herd of elk. I literally was just a couple miles from home. I couldn't wait to get home to tell my wife, wow, you won't believe it. I saw a whole herd of elk crossing the road right in front of me. So we have something so incredible, so powerful. And when we come across with that level of excitement, like Jerry says, when we're positive, people want to know. They're going to be more curious, and they're just more likely to want to learn more about it. Who wouldn't, right? So with that, anybody want to close it out?
Yeah, William, I want to take a couple more minutes. It's something we talked about, and if we can, and I think we have a little bit of time, but we've got convention right around the corner. And all these people here have been to several conventions. But could we just really, each one of us, share a quick why we think it's so important to go to convention? Do you mind if we just do that real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
And Masami, can you go ahead and start?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. So it is so important to go to convention. So 5 years ago, I joined the business, and I had an absolutely amazing result at the SEO product. Okay. And at the same time, I had a surgery and convention a week later. So I thought I was not going to go. Okay. Because I had amazing result, that'd be good enough to do the business. But my husband said, if you're going to do this as a business, you have to know the founder. You have to know who's leading this business. You have to know how many people are getting this kind of result. So I pushed myself to went there. Okay. Everything changed. And after the convention, I mean, I thought I already saw the big picture. And when you go there, you really see why you want to do this. And it's all about the mindset. And if you meet so many people there, you will feel, if he's doing it, I think I can do it. That's I really started 5 years ago. It took very seriously, and then be able to get to the diamonds. It takes a little longer time, but I never missed a convention. So if you guys are right now, listen to our call, and new to this and thinking about it, I want to go, but I don't have my money to go. That's the reason you need to go. Find a way, and you need to be at the convention.
Thank you. Donna Lynn?
Well, last year was my first convention, but I can honestly say that I learned more being there for 3 days than I think I could have learned in 6 months any other way. And so inspiring and so exciting. And it just makes you understand why this is the very best thing on the planet to be involved in. It solidified all of my hopes and dreams and whys about being in this business. So I would recommend everybody go. Whatever you have to do, go, because it will just, it'll knock your socks off. You'll be so glad you did.
Thank you. Bill Peary?
Yeah, it's so important. I think you said it earlier. I think putting faces and actually meeting people that are a part of the company, and then actually just meeting the company. Because when you get a taste of what this company is about, and you can see it on videos, but when you go in there and you're actually in a Fortune 50 board meeting on strategy, and the character of the people there, you're right. You're with the right company.
Thank you, Bill. Ann?
Yeah, I want to share our first one. We were in almost a year, and so we went to Florida, and of course it was pretty exciting. Not only all the learning, all the people we met, meeting the founder, all that was exciting. And then at award time, when we saw people, we were D700 at the time, so we saw people go on stage, and we both at the end said, you were going to be up on stage next time. And we were just so ignited. And stress to anybody, like Masami said, make a way to be able to go. It'll be worth it. So.
Real
Jim?
quick, I just want to add mine real quick that Tyler Norton did a talk called Double the Difference, and it's still up. I think it's on amazingmolecules.com, but Tyler did a challenge for us, and William, that's kind of where I met you. But Double the Difference, and I would highly recommend everyone go into the amazingmolecules.com and find the Double the Difference talk by Tyler Norton, because that's what boosted us to go up to where we are now at the rank of diamond. So, William?
Awesome. Guys, here's the deal. You're on a team, right? You are on a team that you haven't even met. You have to go meet your team. You got to know who your teammates are. That's the only place it's going to happen. This is your future. You cannot move forward unless you realize the team that you're on, right? And understand, it's sort of like I'm a baseball guy. So imagine the opportunity to go to the World Series. That's what this is for your business. Imagine going to the Super Bowl. That's what this is for your business. If you are at all serious, even if you're have a little itch of seriousness, you have to go, because you will never know. You will never know what's possible unless you do.
And the last one, Jerry White, who started this whole thing.
Well, it's pretty clear. If you ever want to be popular, you have to go to convention.
What are you going to be dressed like, Jerry, on Saturday night?
Disco Queen.
A darn fool.
All right. Well, guys, William, anything to close, wrap it up with?
You guys, we're all on an amazing journey. What we have to do is just realize it. We have to realize it. Imagine walking down the street and there's a person with a bag of, I got a bag right here, of Renew 28 samples. And they put their head down and say, would you mind just trying this? And then at the end of the road, there's a gal down there with a bag of the same molecule standing up on a, I don't know, a platform saying, come here, you've got to learn about this. Please, people, gather here, put this on, rub it on, try it. Who's going to have the most success, right? So be brave, be bold, go out, get it done.
All right, William, thank you. Hey, guys, we do have a show. William and I do Discovering ASEA on Friday night. We have got a really, really special guest Friday night, Michael DiDonato, and he is an ASEA-sponsored athlete. And when you hear this man's story and his story of his friend, Lucas, it'll take you to your knees. It'll just, you'll be so full of pride that a company like ASEA will sponsor someone that does what this man does. So that'll be this Friday at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, and whatever time it is for Jerry, I forget. I think that's 6 o'clock Western. So anything else, William?
That's it, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Jerry, feel better. Heal well.
I got forces with me. It's called Renew 28.
That's right.
Awesome.
There you go.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Right.